Tennessee heads up to Lexington to take on the Kentucky Wildcats this Saturday. The Vols are heavily favored and they have to take care of business. But there is only one way that Tennessee slips up and loses this game, and we'll talk about it just ahead. Hey, Lucas Panzica here from 104.5 The Zone and A to Z Sports. There is a way that Tennessee can go up to Kentucky and lose to the Wildcats for only the fourth time since 1984, and that is Tennessee beating itself in Lexington. We almost saw it happen last weekend with the other UT, Texas, having to be bailed out by their special teams unit to win in overtime against Kentucky in a low-scoring, ugly football game. Tennessee simply has to avoid going up to Lexington and doing some of the things that they did in Tuscaloosa last weekend. Now, Alabama is much better equipped to make you pay for those things, obviously, than Kentucky is. But things like not scoring at the goal line, turnovers that lead to points for the opposing team, penalties at untimely moments, poor tackling was a huge issue for Tennessee last weekend, and a lack of generally complementary football. A great example in Tuscaloosa, Tennessee down by 10, staying in the game despite the disaster that ended the first half, forced a fumble on Ty Simpson, one of the rare QB pressures on the night. They took over with great field position, got a nice run to kickstart the drive, and then ran into some mistakes. The Vols had a miscue on an RPO, an ill-timed snap that Joey Aguilar had to cover up, and a dropped ball in a drive that could have cut it to a one-score Alabama lead in the second half, despite everything that had gone wrong. Tennessee was unable to take advantage of that turnover. They did punt it, pin Alabama on the 1-yard line, and then gave up a 99-yard drive. The Vols simply have not had an easy time getting all three phases going at the same time, playing complementary football this season. That's the only way Tennessee loses this game in Kentucky, is if they find ways to lose. Now, Josh Heupel, to his credit, for the most part, that's not been an issue in his Tennessee tenure. It happened last season at Arkansas, there's no question. But those type of games have been few and far between when Tennessee is the clear-cut better team and the favorite in losing to an inferior opponent. And make no mistake, Kentucky is an inferior opponent. The Wildcats are easily the worst team in the Southeastern Conference. But like we said, they nearly knocked off Texas last weekend. Tennessee has got to have its wits about them going into Saturday, understanding the Vols have to win out to make the college football playoff. Penalties have to be cleaned up. Ill-timed turnovers, a lot of mistakes that cost Tennessee in Tuscaloosa cannot cost them in Lexington, because if you mess around too much in this conference, you will find yourself on the losing end. So we'll see if the Vols can get right and take care of business against the Kentucky team that they have been dominant against over the decades.